Parents in Kaduna plead for the rescue of missing children from suspected traffickers. Police deny explosion in Taraba, attribute death of 3 children to Dane gun. Nigeria joins global Easter celebration with messages of hope, love and joy. And on the 14th, Pope urges humanitarian aid to Gaza in Easter address. Journalists injured in Al-Aqsa Hospital airstrike. Very good evening and welcome to the news hour on Trust TV. I'm Sagir Ibrahim. A cross-section of parents in Angwarimi, Kaduna North local government area are calling on relevant authorities to secure the return of their children allegedly abducted by suspected child traffickers from the community. The distraught parents expressed the emotional toll they've endured since the abduction of their children, highlighting the psychological trauma they continue to face. Trust TV's Bello Musa visited the community in Kaduna Metropolis and filed this report.
Ungwarimi, an established settlement in the metropolis, boasts a sizable population. However, the activities of suspected child traffickers have become a cause of concern for many parents in the area. Umar Usman shares his ordeal as his 3.5-year-old son, Muhammad Usman, was abducted from this location. After returning from school, he had his meal and brought his toy to this place. His mother later found the toy here, but couldn't find him. 10 months after, this family is still traumatized as their children are yet to return.
I am at a loss for words. The pain is unbearable. I urge the government to intervene and bring back our children.
I can't begin to describe the agony I feel. I am still in shock. The only thing that can bring me solace is to see my son again. I pray for his safe return every day. At various locations within the community, this plight extends to another family. A deaf woman whose daughter, Khadija Usman, was also allegedly stolen by a lady residing in the community, shares in the anguish of loss and uncertainty.
My daughter Khadija must be returned to me. I won't rest until she's back. May God reveal more about their whereabouts.
According to the residents, the suspected child trafficker was identified by this deaf woman as the one who allegedly abducted her daughter. The suspects, who are residents of this area, were apprehended after kidnapping the daughter of a deaf woman. They are currently in police custody. The recent spate of child abductions in our community is alarming. We are meeting with parents to raise awareness and encourage vigilance regarding their children's movements. Meanwhile, the suspects involved in the child trafficking at Ungwarimi were apprehended, according to a statement by the Kaduna State Police Command. In the statement, the command's public relations officer ASP Mansur Hassan mentioned that the police had rescued a 2-year-old victim named Zainab, adding that members of the syndicate confessed to the crime. The arrested suspect, identified by the police as Sheikh Hussaini, age 40, Tiskan Isiaku, age 43, Hafsat Hussaini, age 24, all resident of Ungwarimi in Kaduna, while Angela Onazu, age 44, is said to be residing in Sabon Tasha, Kaduna. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
Well, there you have it. Also, the Taraba State Police Command has refuted claims that an improvised explosive device caused the death of 3 children in Didangogeta village, Karim Lamido, local government area of the state. According to the Commissioner of Police, David Iloyonomon, the tragic incident occurred when the children were playing with a Dane gun on a tree, leading to an accidental discharge of gunpowder that resulted in their deaths. while 4 other children sustained injuries. One is receiving treatment at the State Specialist Hospital in Jalingo. The police conducted a thorough investigation and found no evidence of dynamite or IED at the scene, concluding that it was an accidental discharge. The police commissioner assured that investigations are ongoing to uncover more details surrounding the incident. And earlier we spoke to Daily Trust regional editor Hamisu Matazu on the tragic incident.
Well, as at yesterday, it was reported because we most journalists relied on the information coming out from the community that it was IED that exploded with the children. 3 were killed by the explosion and about 4 injured. But today, the police came up with a report that it wasn't an explosion because they drafted the men of explosive. They drafted the explosive squad to the area, and based on their investigation and the exhibit they discovered in the area, it was a Dane gun that went off. That the children were playing with the Dane gun, and it went off. And they were able to pick some of the exhibits that includes a gunpowder and some shrapnel from the Dane gun that killed the children. Well, 4 of them were the 3 children were on the tree, while 4 others were on the ground that were injured. But the 4 that were on the tree were killed by the Dane gun, actually. So this is the latest information we received from the police. Notwithstanding, the public there are also saying that the quantum of the damage caused by the gun, some are still insisting that it is an explosion. So we are trying to really get what these people meant by is an explosive, because the quantum of damage based on them cannot be done by just a Dane gun. So this is the situation for now, actually.
All right, Matazu. Unfortunately, 3 children have lost their lives, 4 currently receiving treatment at the State Specialist Hospital. However, has there been any answers regarding where these children may have gotten this Dane gun from? Because, I mean, it's a weapon. It didn't just fall from the sky.
Well, based on the police report, they got it from I think somewhere from the families of the victims. But we are yet to substantiate that, because we are looking on how this had happened, because it's still a mystery on how these children can get it and climb the tree with the gun and cause this damage, because 3 children being killed by 1 gun and 4 injured at the same time, those that are on the ground, is something that left people perplexed to get the answer on how it happens, actually.
Daily Trust regional editor there, Hamisu Matazu. Still in the news, in its ongoing efforts to eradicate criminal elements, particularly dissidents causing unrest in Imo State, the 34 Artillery Brigade Command successfully dismantled another pro-Biafra group. The 3-day operation targeted the Eziama Obiato community in the Mbitoli local government area of the state. Trust TV's Ajibade Praise was there and filed in this report.
We are currently at the valley where the dissidents use as their escape route most times when they operate. Down there is the river in Jaba, and once they pass there, they escape into another community entirely of the state. However, the commander with his men has assured that they will leave no stone unturned in ensuring that these dissidents are totally eradicated out of the state. I believe you communicate your mindset, Commander.
Absolutely.
The residents of the community have abandoned their homes due to the criminal activities of the underworld figures. Notably, Oluchi Ogo, alias B44, the criminals operated from a strategically located camp along the Njaba River bank, connecting three major local governments, Mbitoli, Njaba, and Oru East. However, with the joint efforts of the military and the anti-kidnapping unit of the Imo Police Command, the wrongdoers have been successfully ousted.
Following our successful operations at Osu local government area, where the General Officer commanding its 2 Division Nigerian Army, Major General H.T. Dada, spoke with you. We are here in the location of another notorious camp, the camp of B44. It's somewhere to our left. It's bordering Njaba River and as well as Ihioma community in Oru East local government area. It's also bordering Mbetolo local government area. So it's strategic. The camp is located along a river line. And like you've seen, we cleared the camp yesterday. That's why we brought you to see the dastardly activities that these criminal elements are doing.
Additionally, the troops unearthed bodies of suspected victims believed to have been murdered by the dissidents from their shallow graves where they were buried. Furthermore, their car park and garage where stolen vehicles were dismembered and sold in parts were thoroughly searched during the operation. The commander emphasized their dedication to security and acknowledged the support from the government, highlighting the commitment of both the military and the governor Hope Uzodinma to ensure safety in the region.
You saw some freshly dug graves, and we brought out some corpses and putting them inside body bags. You've equally seen some vehicles which were vandalized for sale. So generally you've seen what is happening, the bad acts of these bad boys.
Okay. And this is where they operated. We just left their camp not quite long, and it was also confirmed that they've been dislodged from there. And also here, where they used to park their vehicles and operate, there is no sign of any vehicle here. They've also been dislodged from this thick forest. What this means is that their nefarious activities which they perpetrate within the Mbitolu axis has been halted, and the military has reclaimed the territory. Ajibade Praise, Trust TV News, Owerri.
Thanks to Ajibade for that report. Also, the payment of compensation for the Kofar-Guga road realization project in Katsina has elicited mixed reactions among the affected individuals. While some are praising the government for the prompt payment of compensation, others are expressing dissatisfaction, claiming they have received inadequate compensation. Abdullahi Yamadi has been following the story and tells us more. Take a look.
The dualization of the Kofar-Guga road is expected to alleviate traffic congestion and enhance the economic development of the capital city. However, despite these anticipated benefits, challenges have emerged, particularly concerning the compensation process for affected residents. Complaints about irregularities in compensation payments have led to tensions among the affected individuals, highlighting the need for transparent and fair procedures to address these grievances.
I think we are more than 200 here, temporary sites or temporary shops here, and none of us is considered, and we have to be considered at least because the previous administration has considered us, and it has even given us the yellow card. You can see it here with me. Everything has been taken, the measurement and the compensation. We were hoping that we are going to be paid, but when this administration comes, none of us is considered. They have said that the issue of temporary ones has been dissolved. And we are pleading for the government to please consider the temporary ones, because many of us are here running their own businesses, and if they are taken away from here, we don't know where to go.
In addition to the challenges with compensation payments, some individuals have raised concerns about their exclusion from the list of the beneficiaries. They allege that their omission is a deliberate attempt to undermine Governor Radda's administration and endanger their livelihoods. Zahraddin Ibrahim and his 6 brothers, whose properties were affected by the dualization project and were previously assessed for compensation, discovered that their names were inexplicably absent from the beneficiary list. This situation underscores the need for thorough and transparent processes to ensure that all affected individuals receive fair compensation and avoid perceptions of bias or sabotage. While we appreciate the dualization of this road, it's crucial to ensure fairness in compensation payments. I believe Governor Radda may not be aware of these issues, and I want to assure you that we will utilize all legal avenues to oppose any perceived injustice in the compensation process. However, in response to claims made by some beneficiaries, the Commissioner of Lands and Physical Planning, Faisal Keita, cautions residents against individuals aiming to sabotage the government's effort to revitalize the capital city.
So if you have any grievances, it's better for you to approach it the right way. There is a laid down procedure, write an application, submit to the ministry. The ministry has a committee that address issues of grievances. They will look into your case. If you have a case, of course, we will pursue it. All what we're after is to be fair and just to people.
Public commentators in Katsina are advising the government to proceed with caution in the compensation disbursement process. They emphasize the importance of establishing a fair and equitable precedent to ensure that all affected individuals receive just compensation. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
Well, there you have it. So other stories now. The representation of women in Nigerian politics has been declining since 2011, and the 2023 election in Africa's largest economy further confirmed this trend with poor outcomes for women. The number of women in Nigeria's National Assembly has decreased by 19% compared to the previous assembly, with women now holding only 3% of seats in the Senate and 4% in the House of Representatives. In this report, Noel Sampson interviews women advocating for intentional policies from the government to address this issue. Check a look.
During this month of global celebration of women, these women have emphasized that intentional governmental policies are crucial in achieving the target of 35% representation of women in Nigeria's political system.
And I believe to surmount the challenge of having not a less than satisfactory number of women in elective positions, we need to have policies that apply to political parties that are very deliberately geared at ensuring that women emerge as candidates. And these policies have to be in effect in not just, without wanting to offend, not just smaller political parties, but the bigger ones as well, the APCs, the PDPs, parties of that nature also have to go to extra lengths to ensure that women are better represented on the ballot in their list of candidates.
So I think our government needs to be very, very intentional about giving slots to women in different seats, like different government positions, empower more women by giving them grants. Businesses that are owned by women, give them grants, bring more women to the table, get their opinions, That's how I believe that the government can bring more women to the table and inspire more women and empower more women.
I would say data-driven people policy is very, very important. So there are a lot of policies that are for women that we just see on the news. We don't know how it was designed, we don't know who they spoke to, and we don't know the kind of people that they spoke to. So it's very important when you're doing policies for people, those people that you're targeting, their voices should be carried along from the beginning of the formulation of that policy. So I think for me, the charge I would give to government is that they should actually look at talking to women from the beginning when they're doing policies for them, so that those policies can be people-driven and data-driven.
Well, I believe that the policies are there, and I believe that to a certain extent, maybe the intention is there, but there just needs to be a bit more of a political will to ensuring that we actually do achieve these gaps and we fill up the gaps where women are actually in these critical positions, to ensure that our voices are being heard, to ensure that we're actually in the positions where we can make those decisions, like I said, that are critical for what it is that affects us as our gender.
Equal participation of men and women in politics is a critical prerequisite for ensuring effective democracy and good governance. Noel Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
And leaders across Nigeria, including the president of the Christian Association of Nigeria, Archbishop Daniel Oko, and former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, have emphasized the significance of peace and unity during the Easter celebrations. Oko urged leaders to govern with wisdom and fairness, echoing the message of Easter to act in the common good. Atiku called on Nigerians to emulate the virtues of love and sacrifice demonstrated by Jesus Christ, emphasizing their importance for national unity. Governors like Godwin Obaseki of Edo State and Peter Mba of Enugu State encouraged reflection on the Easter message of self-sacrifice and love amidst economic challenges. Meanwhile, Governor Doye Diri of Bayelsa State expressed optimism for Nigeria's resilience amid current challenges. Additionally, Peter Obi, the 2023 presidential candidate for the Labour Party, urged Nigerians to continue striving for a better nation and seek divine intervention during Easter. Security measures have also been heightened across states, with the Ogun State Commissioner of Police ordering round-the-clock surveillance during and after the Easter celebrations. And as Christians in Bayelsa State gather to commemorate Easter Day, religious leaders have urged them to reflect on the blessings of the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ. During Sunday services in Yenogwa, worshippers were encouraged to draw inspiration and strength from this significant event in Christianity. Trust TV's Friday, Ebimoboe Peter reports.
The senior pastor of Faith Victory Church in Yenagua, Pastor Moses Etume, emphasized the significance and benefit of the death and resurrection of Jesus to the Christian religion. He described Easter as a season of celebration of hope for mankind, highlighting the profound impact of Jesus' sacrifice and victory over death.
The peculiarity of today is that it's a day that Jesus rose again. If he did not rise from the grave, it means our Christian faith is futile. It means what we believe is false, because his death and burial and the resurrection is a symbol of Christianity. Because that is exactly what he came to do. And if he did not rise on the third day, then it means our Christian faith is dead. Christ came to pay for the ransom for us. So his death means we have been free from sin. Then his resurrection, meaning we now have the new life in Christ Jesus. That is a benefit, number one. The benefit, number two, we now have a hope of resurrection when we die, that we will now rise again. So in this season, we have to reflect on his word, so that he will be able to use his word to encourage us to strengthen our relationship again, because many things are dragging Christians away from Jesus.
Pastor Desmond Egbo and evangelist Izibeki and Jollyman encourage all Christians to celebrate the Easter season by reflecting on the significance of Christ's death and resurrection. They urge believers to embrace a resurrected life empowered by victory over death and sin that Christ has granted them.
Christ is the true God. There is, no matter what we pass through, we should put him first. That every word that you have said to us, it has come to pass. Remaining one, which is his coming. He said that he's going to die on the cross of Calvary. It came to pass. He said he's going to rise again the third day. It came to pass. So that one that he said that is coming back, definitely is coming. So I want to advise the Christian that we should focusing on him, look more on him, walk with him, believe him, so that at the end, when he comes, he will not find us wanting.
I'm very happy knowing that my God is alive. There are some gods that are dead. There are some deities people have worshipped. There are some human people have worshipped. There are some that have come that they are Christ, that they have died, and they are not alive. We did not have any evidence of them resurrecting. I'm happy today because this same our Jesus, our Lord, our Christ is alive.
Easter is a season in the Christian religion calendar that focuses on the reflection of the person, death, and resurrection of Jesus Christ, the Messiah and the Savior to mankind. From Yenagwa, Friday, Ebimobowe Peter. Trust TV News, Yenagwa.
You're watching the news on Trust TV. Coming up shortly. Nigeria's living conditions crisis continues for poor households as inflation bites harder. This and of course more news after the break. Join us again. Welcome back. If you're just joining, it's the news hour on Trust TV. Now recap of our top stories. Parents in Kaduna plead for the rescue of missing children from suspected traffickers. And police deny explosion in Taraba, attribute death of 3 children to Dane gun. And rice marketers in Gombe State are decrying low patronage, citing inflation as the main factor responsible for demand slowing down. During the Eid al-Fitr celebration, there is typically a surge in demand for commodities among Muslim faithfuls. Marketers often observe heightened demand for staples such as rice during this period. Hassan Koli reports.
On the eve of Salah celebration, Gombe main market typically experiences a surge in the number of buyers as Muslim faithful engage in shopping to commemorate the end of the holy month of Ramadan. Rice, being one of the essential commodities sought after during this period, has witnessed a decline in patronage due to its high cost, prompting many shoppers to seek alternative options. We are currently witnessing a significant decrease in patronage compared to the previous year. The price per bag of rice now ranges from 120,000 to 130,000, making it unaffordable for many of our customers. Consequently, they are opting to purchase smaller quantities, typically 1 or 2 measures, which cost nearly 3,500 naira. The price discrepancy is attributed to the varying grades of the rice available. Several factors, including increased fertilizer prices, rising transportation fares, and frequent power outages in Gombe, have contributed to the substantial escalation in rice cost, from 60,000 last year to the current rate of about 125 naira. According to rice sales, the reduction in rice processing due to the recent power outage in Gombe is pushing the price of the commodity upwards. The rice available in our market is locally cultivated, and a recent power outage in Gombe has led to a shortage of this commodity. For example, if we typically process 100 bags, but are only able to process 20 bags due to the outage, it results in a scarcity of rice. Consequently, those who possess rice may decide to increase its price due to the high demand. However, when there is stable power for rice processing, the supply of the commodity will increase, leading to a reduction in price. Therefore, stable electricity is crucial for ensuring an adequate supply of rice and stabilizing its market price. The state government recently initiated a food distribution program targeting vulnerable individuals and people with disabilities in an effort to alleviate their hardships. However, this initiative has faced criticism for being ineffective and insufficient in meeting the needs of the intended beneficiaries. While the government's intervention in distributing food palliatives is necessary, it may not provide a sustainable solution in the long term. Even if the distribution continues for several years, it may not have a significant impact. A more effective approach will be to implement policies that support and promote small and macro businesses, enabling people to sustain their livelihoods independently without relying on government assistance for food. This approach will empower individuals to become self-sufficient and reduce dependency on food aid programs. Report from global partners and the Nigerian government indicate that a staggering 26.5 Nigerians are projected to experience food insecurity this year, highlighting the severe state of poverty and hunger in the country. Hassan Kodi, Trust TV News, Gombe.
Also, Saini Munkaila, a father of 9, earns a maximum of 2,000 naira daily from his tire repair business. In this report, Salim Ibrahim spent the entire day shadowing Hussaini as he struggles to feed himself and his family during the month of Ramadan, shedding light on the challenges faced by many Nigerians. Take a look.
Living in a half-fenced, uncompleted building he called a house, with no furniture and absolutely lacking a bit of social amenities, Hussaini Munkaila looks very contented, though managing through life every day. This father of 9 children and a wife is a vulcanizer who earns 1,500 naira to 2,000 naira per day, which is used to cater for the family, business, and other needs. At the time, the current hardship and increased level of poverty in Nigeria is continuing to bite harder on the common citizens, especially the less privileged and underprivileged members of the societies. The situation has checked in a larger population into the month of Ramadan, Muslim festivals, as many struggle to get what to eat. The routine activity of Munkaila and his family is a story of sadness, struggle, and a continuous striving for hope every day. As the sun rises welcoming a new day, Munkaila wore his somewhat dirty uniform that he used for work. He pulls out his old worn-out bicycle and winds the pedals continuously until it kicks on. Then he lifts it up and goes outside, bidding his family farewell. He then proceeds to Mamaga area of Hotoro along Maiduguri Road. This vulcanizer is one among the 41 vulcanizers doing business along Maiduguri Road between the Muhammad Buhari interchange in Hotoro to the flyover just by Amin Kano Teaching Hospital. He arrives at his place of work usually around 10 a.m. to set up and then wait for vehicles and passers-by with faulty tires and those who will have to gauge their tires. It is only a matter of luck and God's divine intervention to get the desired number of customers in this kind of business. The business of vulcanizing is mainly practiced by people who are tired, lacking in Western education, and have little or no capital to start a more lucrative business that can fend for their needs and that of their families. Speaking about the business, Munkaila said it has not been easy despite the ever-challenging moment.
This is how we usually come out. We didn't keep anything. We don't have anything. But what we are able to gather highest by 1 o'clock, 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. or maybe when we are about to close from work, we send the little we have home for them to do to utilize it and do whatever, maybe cook the little they can for the younger ones. As for us, whatever we have, we got, we eat. If we didn't get, we just leave it like that and be patient until we have. At least if the younger ones at home can get what to eat, we are okay, we are satisfied. Who are you going to complain to? We don't have anywhere to go and complain. And even at that, we are even far better than some people. Others are looking up to us that we are more privileged than them.
With little he had for the day, that was not enough. Munkaila could only send all back home to prepare something that will take them through the following day. Himself and his child, Abubakar, who is in his late 20s, have never gone back home to breakfast with the remaining members of their family because there was nothing to eat altogether. So, they rely on food packed in nylons, courtesy of a well-to-do individual, to fill up their bellies. Barely an hour to break up fast, he conducts his ablution and proceeds to the nearby mosque and sits until the food is shared immediately after prayer. This is what they will only eat and perhaps keep some for other family members to also enjoy. Speaking shortly after he broke his fast, Munkela said it has always been like that for years. This is where I break my fast every day. Whatever we have, the little we get, we eat. The little one we were able to have to get from the business, we send home for them to also utilize and eat. That's just it. After that, around 8 to 9 p.m., we close and go home to rest for the following day. We always remain hopeful that the following day will be better than the previous one. It is before that we come out with the hope that we get something to eat and do other things. But now, it's just to feed ourselves, and that is challenging also. Once we get what to eat, we are satisfied, we thank God, and we close. The likes of Munkela are many in this part of the country, always struggling to make ends meet, day in, day out. They go hand in hand with other artisan groups who must always earn to feed. However, this category of people still keep hope alive as they pray that tomorrow will be better than today. Salim Umar Ibrahim, reporting for Trust TV.
Away from the cost of living, Maria Abdullahi, mother of 4-month-old Fatima Salisu, who succumbed to meningitis, has implored parents to ensure their children receive vaccinations against cerebrospinal meningitis. She recounted how her daughter initially presented with a high fever and later developed a stiffened neck before being rushed to a hospital in Gagarawa. Despite efforts, Fatima passed away at Gumel General Hospital, where they were transferred. Maria Abdullahi passionately calls on the community to visit the meningitis immunization center and get vaccinated to safeguard themselves against this epidemic.
Sunana Maria Abdullahi daga Gagarawa tasha. Sunan ita Fatima Salisu. Watan ta hudu.
My name is Maria Abdullahi from Gagarawa Tasha. My daughter's name is Fatima Salisu. She was 4 months old before her death. Fatima woke up with a fever. After that, I noticed her head was bent to one side, and then I told her father that I would be taking her to the hospital. On reaching the hospital, I also noticed she was breathing hard and her body was stiff. The doctor checked her and asked me to take her to the bigger hospital where she died. I was touched by her death because she was dear to my heart. I am passionately calling on the community to visit the meningitis immunization center to get vaccinated to safeguard themselves against this epidemic.
Saboda ni na ga abin ya faru daga kaina. In ga dole in kita ka tsantsan da wannan abu.
Well, there you have it, Maria's call to Nigerians. Away from that, as Muslims approach the last 10 days of Ramadan, the Jama'atul Nasr al-Islam, JNI, reminds them to increase spiritual efforts and kindness towards the less fortunate. They emphasized the importance of Zakatul Fitr and urged Muslims to pray for an end to poverty and societal challenges. Muslims are encouraged to recite the Quran more, perform nightly prayers and continue acts of charity. JNI also calls for prayers for Nigeria's challenges, including economic recession and insecurity, hoping for divine intervention. The group wished Muslims Allah's forgiveness and urged them to maintain their good deeds beyond Ramadan. Also, the Arewa Consultative Forum encourages Christians to pray for peace, security and economic recovery during the Easter season. The forum acknowledges the challenges facing Nigeria and calls for prayers for divine intervention. Despite the difficulties, the ACF urges people not to lose hope but to look to God for deliverance. They call on Christian leaders to pray for Nigeria's leaders and security forces, asking for guidance, strength and wisdom. Additionally, they pray for the conversion of criminals and the release of innocent captives. The ACF hopes for a future of prosperity, justice and equity rather than despair and hopelessness. And clerics have urged political leaders to emulate the virtues of Jesus Christ during Easter season, emphasizing commitment, sacrifice and direction in governance. They stressed the importance of using the lessons of Easter in day-to-day leadership to bring about positive change and democracy dividends. The clerics call on the government to address the suffering of Nigerians as basic commodities become increasingly unaffordable for the common people.
Oil has gone up beyond the reach of an average Nigerian, but they are sharing the proceeds of the fuel subsidy. They are sharing the proceeds, so they are not sacrificing at all for the society. They are not sacrificing at all. The masses they promised to protect, they are now battered, injured, downtrodden. Unfortunately, we used to have the upper class, the middle class, and the lower class. Interestingly, they have wiped off the middle class. It is either you are rich or you are poor, which is unfortunate. So the lesson of Easter is about sacrifice, but our politicians are sacrificing nothing.
We want the democracy, dividends of democracy, dividend of democracy from them. Good road, electricity, installation of electricity in this country, and curb the menace of Boko Haram and IPOP and things like that. That we have good security in this country. If those things are done, we will have flamboyant economy in this country.
And the persistent issue of a significant number of out-of-school children in Nigeria continues to be a cause for grave concern, representing a substantial threat to the nation's future. This crisis is largely fueled by a combination of parental negligence and unsustainable education policies implemented by governments. Our Trust TV's Hamid Oyegbade files this report.
The United Nations Children Fund reports that 1 in 3 children in Nigeria is out of school, with a total of 10.2 million at the primary level and 8.1 million at the junior secondary school level. Recent trends show that Southwest states, including Osun, are increasingly contributing to the national out-of-school population. Osun has the highest number of out-of-school students in the Southwest in 2023, according to available data.
The situation is worrisome. Everywhere they used to say Osun is the home of out-of-school children. And why was that? Simply because of the attitude of the past administration. They neglected most of the national policy on education, and they are doing their own here. For example, they embark on building of a mega schools. Mega school whereby like 10, in some places 10 schools were collapsed to build one.
Some parents are negligent. They are negligent, so negligent that they don't care about their children's or one's education. They have the money to finance them, to sponsor them rather, but they will never do that. They will never do that. They will engage in their businesses. They will leave the house as early as possible in the morning. They're forgetting that they should care for these children and they should prepare for them to go to school.
Government should make education, especially at the primary level,
free. I mean, basic education. We should all have rights to get education. If education is free, we'll have less of these out-of-school children.
The ongoing efforts to mitigate the current trend is key to turning around an academic phenomenon which is widespread across the country.
We make sure we want to bring all of these children back to the school. All those schools that were abandoned that time, many of them have been deteriorated. They are no more in good shape. They were den of criminals. So we are renovating them gradually to bring the children back to the place.
This challenge highlights the urgent need for targeted intervention and sustainable policies to address the issue of out-of-school children in Osun State and across Nigeria. Amid Oyegbade, Trust TV News, Osogbo.
Well, thanks to Hamid for that report. Also, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency intercepted a 35-year-old woman, Chidinma Chinenye Agbazwe, attempting to export 20 parcels of cannabis sativa weighing 10.70 kilograms to Doha, Qatar, concealed in African salad and dried vegetables. The operation, conducted in conjunction with the Department of State Services, also led to the rejection of a 5 million naira bribe from another suspect. In separate incidents, 2 suspects were arrested in Lagos with a large quantity of opioids, including tramadol and codeine syrup, while in Bayelsa, 3 suspects were apprehended attempting to smuggle opioids to the creeks. Additionally, arrests were made in Ogun, Taraba, Abia, Ondo, and Kano states, resulting in the seizure of cannabis, tramadol, codeine syrup, and other illicit drugs. The NDLEA continues its efforts to combat drug trafficking across the country, recovering significant amounts of illegal substances and arresting numerous suspects. And in business, the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, MAN, has warned the federal government that the recent interest rate hike by 200 basis points will increase the cost of loans and production for manufacturers. The association also said that the interest rate hike to 24.75% would worsen the continuous macroeconomic instability prevalent in the economy, with overwhelming impact on the manufacturing sector. The Director General of MAN, Segun Ajayi Kadir, made this known in a statement on Saturday, declaring the association's position on the report of NPC meeting held on March 25th and 26, 2024. MAN said the decision of the CBN is not healthy for the economy, facing foreign exchange instability, escalated energy prices and food insecurity, which have heightened the inflationary pressures and grossly eroded the consumer's purchasing power. The association further highlighted that these issues have had a negative impact on the manufacturing sector, leading to decreased production and reduced competitiveness. The Association of Bureau de Change Operators of Nigeria, APCON, has lauded the decision of the Central Bank of Nigeria to recall BDCs into the mainstream forex market, describing the move as a major factor in ongoing exchange rate stability. APCON President Aminu Gwadabe, in a statement on Saturday, set aside monetary policy tightening that led to interest rate hike and more investment in government instruments and clearance of $7 billion forex backlog. Forward commitments. The recall of the BDCs has significantly boosted dollar liquidity at the retail end of the forex market. Gwadabe expressed APCON's gratitude to the Cardoso-led CBN and other related agencies for the recognition of BDCs as the third leg of the foreign exchange market and an effective exchange rate transmission mechanism in forex management. He added that the stability in exchange rate has already started to have positive impact on the prices of goods and services. And on the foreign scene, Pope Francis used his Easter Sunday address to call for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza and the release of all Israeli hostages, emphasizing the importance of humanitarian aid to alleviate the suffering caused by wars. Despite recent health challenges, the 87-year-old pontiff presided over Mass in St. Peter's Square and delivered his blessings and message from St. Peter's Basilica. Following the service, he greeted crowds in the square and along the avenue leading to the River Tiber, with approximately 60,000 people in attendance. Also, 7 journalists, including one from the BBC, were injured in an Israeli airstrike at a hospital courtyard in Gaza. The strike targeted an Islamic Jihad command center within the Al-Aqsa hospital grounds, killing 4 militants. Hamas and medical staff deny accusations of militants using hospitals as bases. The journalists were among hundreds seeking shelter in makeshift tents at the hospital, facing harsh conditions and the threat of strikes. The Israeli military claims precision targeting to minimize harm to civilians. Al-Aqsa Hospital is the last functioning hospital in central Gaza. And to sports now. In a highly anticipated match between Manchester City and Arsenal, both teams seemed cautious, with City eventually extending their unbeaten home record to 39 games. The best chance came from Nathan Ake in the first half, but Arsenal failed to trouble the City defense. Substitute Leonardo Trossard came close for Arsenal in the final minutes, but City held on for a point. Despite the draw, Arsenal may find positives in ending the 8-game losing streak at City's home ground. And that wraps up the news hour on Trust TV. Do well to follow us across all of our social platforms on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and also catch our live stream on YouTube for more news programs and documentaries. I'm Sagir Ibrahim. Thank you for watching and good night.